Say hey everybody, welcome back to Sorare FP. I'm Alex Hooper, taking a look at All-Star Weekend in the NBA. Sorare NBA has been a wild ride in the first half for the rollout and all the work that goes into it, all the time that you have to spend in it. It's been tumultuous in the Sorare streets. I know a lot of people have been exiting Sorare NBA because of the work. If you're still here, if you're still grinding, we love it. We'd love to see you. And let's figure out All-Star Weekend in Sorare NBA. So there are two contests. We have, well, there's more than two, but two different contests that span different scarcities. So the first one is the Mixed All-Star Saturday event, and the second is the All-Star Game All Offense Competition. That's the one that's broken up into multiple scarcities. We're going to start with Saturday night. Saturday night's interesting, and there's an interesting strategy that goes into this. And we're going to take a look at that really quick. Before we get into that, I'm actually going to pull up the prize pool. Excuse me. We're going to pull up the prize pool for All-Star Saturday night. So you can win super rares if you absolutely knock this out of the park. You can win a tier 4 in the top 10, tier 3 in the top 3, or you can win a tier 2 rare in the top 30, tier 3 in the top 50, and then you kind of move down, you get some bummer limiteds. So really you want to finish in the top 50 here, but it's going to be difficult. So it's a very top-heavy contest here. So you're going to need to go for the gold. I mean, if you want to go out there and buy players to try to win a Tier 5 Limited or a Tier 5 Rare, be my guest, that's fine. But really top 50 here, where you get the Tier 3 Rare, that's where you get the useful cards. I guess you can argue top 100 Tier 4 Rares every now and then can be pretty useful in the Rare division, especially in Contender. But we're swinging for the top here, and there are 3 events on All-Star Saturday night. There is the 3-point contest, there is the dunk contest, and there is the skills contest. In terms of this contest here, the All-Star Saturday Night contest on Sorare, the most important contest that is going on is going to be that skills competition. So, we'll hit that last. So I'm going to pull up the odds here for, where are we at? Can we get this? There, now we can. All right. So here are the odds. 3-point contest, dunk contest, and then we don't have any odds for the skills competition. We'll move on to the All-Star Game later. So if you look at the percent chances of winning here, Buddy Hield running away with things at 18% chance. And then Tyrese Halliburton all the way in the back at almost 12. There's not a huge distribution across these odds. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. In the skills competitions, the scoring is as follows. A player gets 10 points for participating, 30 points for second, and 50 points for winning. So realistically, in a way, the 3-point shootout is going to be the thing that you have to nail to get in the top 50. If you look at the distribution of odds here, they're not huge. I do have Buddy Hield. I am playing Buddy Hield in this spot because he has the highest odds to win. But the difference between he and Halliburton is negligible. 6.1% difference. That's minuscule. If you have one of these guys, just play him. Play whoever's the highest here. I wouldn't go out and buy one for this. I wouldn't do it, personally. I would just roll with the dogs you have. That said, this is a mixed scarcity competition. So if you have a Buddy Hield limited, but you have a Damian Lillard rare, I would play the Damian Lillard rare because, my Buddy Hield has an 8.5% power. My Damian Lillard has somewhere around a 17.5% power. So, really, it makes more sense for me to just gun for the higher score in Lillard and just hope he makes up the 1.48% difference in the odds, and he goes on to win the thing. So if you have a super rare, you're golden. If you have a super rare of anyone participating on Saturday, you're going to want to play him here. Odds be damned, honestly, because you're just going to get so much more of a boost. And say I have a Kevin Huerter super rare and I play it and he wins, I am sitting above pretty much every Kevin Huerter, especially if I got, the Kevin Huerter 1 super rare mint and he has the most power compared to anyone else. Then all of a sudden, you're sitting at, 50... I don't want to do this math. You're sitting at like 65 points on his win, whereas other Kevin Huerters, a limited even, will have 52.5 points, at its base. So hopefully that makes sense. Like, 3-point contest, it's going to be a complete toss-up. I would not be surprised if Buddy Hield gets eliminated in the first round, and with my luck, he probably will. But, so, yeah, when you're considering players for any of these contests, think odds, but then think scarcity as well. And then we're going to talk about the skills competition, which is the most important, and I'll talk about that in a second. Dunk contest, same sort of thing. The odds aren't huge. I mean, they really don't like Trey Murphy, apparently, but he still has a 1 in 4 chance to win, whereas Kenyon Martin has, over a 1 in 3 chance. You can go get a Jericho Sims and get decent odds for very little, and he's playable right now at a low L10, and you can outscore that pretty easily. Also, the man's got bounce. Like, he has a shot for sure. Mac McClung just hit the auction market, so if you want to do a little game theory there, you're not paying a ton more for Mac McClung, and there's going to be fewer cards on the block. So if he does win, you're going to have leverage over a lot of people because there are so few cards, especially if you want to go get one of those 2 Mac McClung super rares and then get absolutely no utility out of it for maybe the rest of his life. But that is an option. That is an option indeed. So actually, if you're going to buy any of these players, I would say go out and buy Mac McClung and run him in the dunk contest, pray that he wins, and then all of a sudden you have that boost over, so much more of the field is not going to happen. That said, all of his cards are being issued for this competition, so there are going to be some. So consider that. I have a Kenyon Martin Jr. limited. I'm running him out. Okay, let's talk about the skills competition and why it is the most important competition on Saturday night and how you are going to win this division through the skills competition. So there are 3 players on each team. So 3 people here will win, whereas 1 in 4 in the dunk contest will win, and then 1 in 7 will win, 1 in 8 will win in the 3-point contest. So again, the odds of actually hitting on the 3-point contest are so low. You're going to get 10 points just for them being in it. So if you just pick someone, good. You're off the ground. You got 10 points, and maybe you get second. That's lucky, and you're feeling good. In the skills competition, you have 3 players. So if you win, you're getting 150 points. That said, you don't have to play 3 players. Like, if you don't want to buy anyone, you could realistically play Giannis, Paolo Banchero, and Walker Kessler. And you guarantee yourself 90 points that way. I'm actually just realizing that as I speak about it. And that's not a horrible strategy. If you want to just play Thanasis Antetokounmpo because you can get him for, 0.01 ETH, and you have, a Banchero, Ivy, or Smith, and a Clarkson, Kessler, or Sexton, you can grab 90 points and then just hope that you hit the dunk contest and 3-point winner. But, again, you're not going to win unless you hit the skills competition winner. And you play all 3 of them. Because then you're going to get yourself 150 points. And then just, if you get the second place dunker and just some guy who participates in the 3-point contest, you're at 190 points out of a total 250 possible before bonus points. So you unlock the upside to win here by playing 3 players from the skills competition. If you have 3 already, I would just play them. That said, Alex Antetokounmpo doesn't have cards. So, if the Antetokounmpos win the skills competition, the cap of the possible winner then drops to, let's see, 90 plus 50 plus 50. So 190. And it would be 160 if you hit the Antetokounmpos. No, that's bad math. Is it 210, 50, 50, 30, 30? Yeah, 160 for that. So, no, it'd be 200. Sorry, I'm all over the place. The cap then drops to 200 from 250 or whatever I said if the Antetokounmpos win, because one player is not going to be in any lineups. So it might actually be good. If the Antetokounmpos win, it might actually have been good to play, one from each. I mean, still having two from the second place team would heighten your ceiling a little bit. But so yeah, really quick, I will show you what my lineup looks like and what I recommend playing here. Not necessarily all the limiteds. It's just I only have limiteds except for Damian Lillard, who I'm using for the All-Star competition. So here's my lineup. I had a Clarkson already. I just went and got Kessler and Sexton. I had Martin and Hield. So if the Jazz win the skills competition, and Kenyon Martin wins the dunk competition, and Buddy Hield wins the three-point competition, I will have 250 points plus, some decent bonus points out of limiteds here. So Sexton would be the one dragging me down. But I have a decent shot with this lineup, if everything goes right. Basically, you're placing a parlay with your lineup. You're just hoping that you get it right, and if you get all three right, then you can sneak into the top 50. And that's what I am looking to do. Okay, so that's Saturday night. I say go get a team, play your highest scarcities, if possible, at least as a tiebreaker. If you feel really strongly about someone, go ahead and play them. But again, with these odds, Martin looks great, but he's 3% better than Mac McClung. And Buddy Hield is great, but he's 6%, not even 6% better. Yeah, 6.1% better than the worst player in the field. And then the skills competition is a bit of a crapshoot, but for Sorare purposes, I wish it was last because we would all be sweating it. All right, let's move on to the All-Star Game. So there's a different wrinkle in the All-Star Game this year that I just read before coming and doing the show. They're not drafting teams until right before the competition. And right before the competition, Sorare will be locked. So we probably won't get minutes projections because we don't know who's going to be where. We know the 5 starters on each side, what way they are arranged. We won't know. We don't have on-off statistics, comparisons for these players, so we can't really break it down. So what we do have is offense points per minute, as you can see here. So these players are starters, and Tatum, if he plays. I think he was back last game, so we're fine. If you can play 5 of these guys, don't worry about their points per minute because they're going to have the most minutes. As for the rest of the field, we don't know where they're going to be. We don't know who's going to play the most. So if you look at a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or a Tyrese Halliburton or a Jaren Jackson or a Damian Lillard, they have the most points per minute. So they're probably the safer plays. But if all of a sudden we hear before lock that no matter what, Bam Adebayo is going to play, 35 minutes, or if we hear, DeMar DeRozan's thigh is still bothering him, he's going to play 5 minutes. Just don't play DeRozan if you have him or if you are thinking about playing him. But look for news. All-Star wise, though, just play the best players and have fun. I don't think there's a ton of strategy right now other than, if you can play LeBron, Giannis, Luka, Jokic, and probably Embiid, go for it. Also, Lauri Markkanen's at home, and Donovan Mitchell is going back to Utah, which there's some storylines there. And then Morant scores well. And Kyrie, I guess, is the worst starter, but Kyrie could also just do what Steph did last year and hit 17 threes or whatever it is. So, yeah, not a lot of strategy in the All-Star game, but that's fine. It's all offense, and it's going to be a dice roll. Look at minutes from last year. They were pretty unevenly distributed. You had some starters playing 35 minutes, and then Chris Paul played something like 5 or 6 minutes. I think that could be a guy like DeRozan here. Younger guys usually don't get the same amount of run. Like, I don't expect Jaren Jackson to play a ton. De'Aaron Fox and Pascal Siakam were late additions. Anthony Edwards is young. DeMar DeRozan, old, hurt. Just running through the rest of the list here. Bam Adebayo doesn't do much, so I don't know that I would play him unless he's just your fifth man. Paul George makes a lot of sense. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's the question mark for me here, because like he could play 25 minutes because he's good and beloved, I think, within the NBA circle. But he could also play 5 minutes because he's a young gun and plays for the Thunder and whatever. So we're not going to have minutes projections most likely, unfortunately. So that is what it is. But focus on Saturday night. That's going to be the fun one. Having stakes on Saturday night is going to make it a lot more fun because it can get kind of boring, or it has gotten a little boring and run down over the years. But I have fun with it. The dunk contest is always a point of conversation. So you can get on the zeitgeist there. I don't know. It'll be fun. But that's it. That's all I got for you. All-Star Weekend. It locks late, I believe. February 18th. So it's going to lock just before Saturday night starts. So about almost 8 o'clock Saturday night is lock. So be prepared for that. Have fun. Play a whole team. Go for the top prize. Don't just walk in unless you don't want to buy more cards, which I understand. All right, that's it. I'm running out of my voice. Have fun. All-Star Weekend. Always a good time. And we'll catch you next time.